No one in the village knew the true source of Malam Sani's suya except for Ada. She had gone to his house one quiet evening and witnessed a sight that shook her soul. Malam Sani pulled a body out of his large freezer, laid it gently on a table, and began to cut it into pieces. Ada's breath caught in her throat. Terrors filled her chest, and she stepped backward, ready to run for her life. But fate betrayed her. Her hands brushed against the cup, sending it crashing to the ground. Clang! The sharp sound echoed through the room. Sani dropped his knife and turned swiftly. His eyes scanned the shadows until they fell on her. And there she was, Ada, his lover, standing frozen, her face pale with fear. The secret he had guarded so carefully was no longer his alone. In a land far from the busy cities, there was a town called Dambara. The people there were known for their peaceful spirit and their love for trade. Farmers, fishermen, and craftsmen lived side by side, welcoming strangers who came to buy and sell in their markets. It was a lively place, full of laughter, trust, and friendship. Among the many traders was Malam Sani, the man who sold suya. He was gentle, soft-spoken, and hardly spoke unless it was to greet a customer. Yet, his name was on every tongue in Dambara, not because of his quiet nature, but because of his suya. His suya was unmatched. Whenever meat sizzled on his fire, the smoky, spicy aroma wrapped around the marketplace, pulling people in like moths to a flame. Men, women, and even children crowded his stall daily, eager for just a taste. The suya was tender, hot, and addictive. No one could resist it. The people of Dambara often said Malam Sani had a secret ingredient. But no matter how hard they guessed, none of them were ever right. When Malam Sani first came to Dambara, no one paid much attention to him. He was just another suya seller in a town, already filled with many vendors. But the moment people tasted his suya, everything changed. Slowly, the villagers abandoned the old vendors and made him their favorite. At first, the other suya sellers were angry. They grumbled and called it unfair. But when they tasted Sani's suya themselves, they understood. His meat was soft, spicy, and delicious, far better than anything they had ever roasted. What troubled them most was the price. His suya was not only sweet, but also unbelievably cheap. While others sold theirs at high prices, Sani's suya was so affordable that everyone preferred him. The people began mocking the old vendors, calling them greedy and selfish. Soon, the competitors were losing both their money and their pride. Some of them whispered, "How is his suya so cheap? Doesn't he want to make profit? Where does he even get his meat from?" But no matter how they tried, the answers never came. Many of the suya vendors gave up their business altogether. Their stalls became empty, their fires died out, and their customers disappeared. Dambara now belonged to Malam Sani. He often told people that coming to Dambara was the best decision of his life. In the village he lived before, his suya was good, but he struggled to make sales. Here in Dambara, it was different. People came from far and near just to taste his meat. His fame grew so much that his small roadside table could no longer contain his business. He expanded. First, he opened a mini shop, then another. Before long, he had 3 shops across the town, each one packed with eager customers. People lined up before the suya was even ready, shouting over each other, "Malam, give me plenty pepper. Ah, Sani, don't forget me, oh. My brother, hold my spot." The crowd's excitement filled the air every night. But with success came pressure. The work became too much for one man. From cutting and washing the meat to boiling, spicing, and roasting, it was draining. For years, Sani had refused to hire anyone. He trusted no one with his work. Many people begged for jobs. Some even offered to help him grow his business beyond Dambara, promising him fame across the cities. But Sani always said no. He worked alone until the day he broke his own rule. The business had grown too big for him. The stress was eating away at him. Finally, he decided to hire 3 helpers, but even then, he kept them at a distance. They were allowed only to serve customers and take money. The cutting, the washing, and the boiling of the meats, those remained his secret. This bothered his workers. They wondered why their boss refused to let them see how the meat was prepared. They often whispered amongst themselves, "Why doesn't he trust us? Why is he always hiding the meat from us? Maybe he doesn't want us to steal his recipe." Still, they kept quiet. The money was good, and the customers never stopped coming. Behind his quiet smile, however, Malam Sani carried a secret too heavy for everyone else to bear. Every day, Malam Sani carried meat from his house to each of his shops, from one bus stop to another. He went with heavy bowls of meat. His workers often wondered why he worked like this. It slowed the business. When the meat finished at one shop, customers had to wait until Sani returned with a new batch. The workers grew frustrated. They decided to call a meeting. "Master," one of them said, "we love this work, and we thank you for giving us this chance. But we feel it is the time you rest. Let us handle more of the business. We can go to the market, buy the meat, and cook it there. That way, the work will be faster. Customers won't complain again." Sani listened silently, then shook his head. "My dear workers," he replied with a small smile, "I know you are hardworking, but don't worry yourselves about the meat. There are things you do not understand. If I leave you to handle it, the taste will never be the same. Do you want my customers to run away?" They protested gently, insisting they only wanted to help, but Sani refused. Yet, among them was one stubborn worker, Tunde. He was determined to uncover the truth. He wanted to know why his master guarded the meat so jealously. One morning, Tunde rose before dawn and went straight to Sani's house. His plan was to follow him to the market, but when he arrived, he found Sani's door slightly open. From inside, he heard the sound of a knife cutting meat. Confused, Tunde stepped closer. Had Sani already gone to the market? He pushed the door open. Inside, Malam Sani was bent over a table, slicing chunks of meat. He looked up and froze, his eyes widened in shock and anger. "You worthless boy," Sani roared. "What are you doing in my house? Who gave you the right to come here?" Tunde stammered, "Master, I only wanted to help. I thought—" "Shut up," Sani snapped. His voice shook with rage. "Get out. From today, you are no longer my worker. You are fired, and don't you ever come near my shops again." Tunde's heart sank. He had only wanted to prove himself, but instead, he was thrown out like dirt. Weeks later, Tunde found work at another suya joint, the second best suya spot in Dambara, run by Amadi, a respected trader. Amadi was surprised to hear how harshly Sani had treated Tunde. "This is strange," Amadi said, after listening. "I have always felt something is not clean about Sani's ways. Now I am sure. Don't worry, Tunde, we'll find out the truth." Not long after, the chief of Dambara celebrated his birthday. It was the grandest festival of the year. People dressed in colorful clothes, music filled the streets, and the palace was alive with laughter and dancing. The chief was a generous man. On his birthday, he gave out free foods and gifts. Guests came from nearby villages, and everyone looked forward to the highlight of the celebration, Malam Sani's suya. That day, Sani worked harder than ever. His hands moved quickly, roasting, slicing, and serving without rest. The demand was endless. His workers helped distribute this meat. But all the preparation had been done by Sani himself, as always. By the time the celebration reached its peak, Sani was completely drained. After sending more bowls of meat to his shop, he quietly slipped away from the party and returned home. For the first time in a long while, exhaustion covered his face. But even in his weakness, he locked his door firmly behind him. His secret had to remain safe. That night, while the town of Dambara slept, Malam Sani tossed on his bed. Strange whispers filled his ears. He buys humans. He buys humans. Is that why his suya is so cheap? At first, he thought it was a dream, but the whispers grew louder, echoing like voices in his skull. Then bang, 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 a heavy knock thundered on his door. Startled, he opened it to see a crowd of angry villagers throwing sand at his house. Their eyes burned with suspicion. Malam Sani, they shouted, "Tell us the truth. Whose teeth is this? What did you do?" Confused and terrified, Sani trembled. They dragged him to the chief's palace. The chief's voice was firm but heavy with disappointment. "Sani, ever since you came to Dambara, we welcomed you as one of us. But something strange has been found in your meat. It does not look like an animal. It looks human. What do you have to say for yourself?" Sani fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "My chief, I swear, I love this town like my own. I will never do such a thing. This must be a prank, a setup by my enemies. You know I have many competitors who want me gone because my business is strong. Please, my chief, forgive me." His cries softened the hearts of the villagers. Many believed him, remembering how jealous the other suya vendors had been. With sympathy, they let him go. Sani returned to his business, this time more careful than ever. The town slowly forgot the incident, but not everyone was convinced. Amadi still carried suspicion in his heart. A year passed. One sunny afternoon, while walking to his shop, Sani saw a young woman by the roadside. She was stunning, her beauty unlike anything he had seen before. It was Ada, and in that instant, he was lost. Their eyes met. Ada laughed softly, teasing him. "Are you going to ask for my number, or will you keep staring?" Flustered, Sani stammered, "Yes, please. Can I have it?" She handed it over with a smile. "You owe me suya, Malam Sani. Everyone in this town knows you, the famous suya seller. How can I not?" From that day, Sani's heart belonged to Ada. He showered her with gifts, dressed her in fine clothes, and spoiled her with money. His love was pure and overflowing. The villagers gossiped about their romance, some even jealous of the attention he gave her. But Ada's love was not pure. She was on a secret mission. Unknown to Sani, she had been sent to get close to him, to uncover what he was hiding. Yet, as days turned into weeks, she found herself falling for him against her own plan. The only thing that bothered her was his refusal to let her visit his house. "My home smells of rotten meat, Ada. I don't want you there." She would protest gently, but he always promised, "Soon, I'll buy you a house in your name, and then we will be together in peace." One day, Ada could no longer wait. Using a key she had secretly taken from him, she went to his house while he was away. Quietly, she opened the door and stepped inside. The stench hit her first. Then she saw it. Inside his giant freezer were human arms, legs, and heads. Men, women, even children. Her heart sank. The rumors were true. Ada broke down in tears. She had prayed it was all lies. But now the truth stared her in the face. Worse, somewhere in the middle of her mission, she had truly fallen in love with him. The pain tore her apart. Suddenly, her elbow struck a stool. Crash! The sound echoed through the house. Malam Sani rushed in. His eyes turned red as he saw Ada standing there, trembling, with tears streaming down her face. "Why, Sani? Why did you do this?" she whispered. He said nothing. His silence was louder than words. Ada bolted out of the house and ran straight to Amadi. In sobs, she revealed everything she had seen. Amadi gathered his men and stormed Sani's home. When they opened the freezer, their stomachs turned. Skulls, bones, and flesh filled the shelves. The villagers were called. Sani was dragged once more to the chief's palace. This time, there was no delaying it. He confessed. For years, he had lured strangers, the poor, the homeless, even children, with promises of food and shelter. Then he slaughtered them, turning their flesh into the suya everyone craved. The town of Dambara was thrown into chaos. People wailed, remembering how they had eaten the suya for years. Never knowing the truth, some tried to vomit, others fainted. The horror was too much to bear. The chief's voice shook with rage as he declared, "Malam Sani, you are a curse to this town. For your crimes, you will spend the rest of your life in prison." Sani was dragged away in chains. His once loved name now spoken with disgust. Ada wept bitterly. She had gone undercover to expose him, but somewhere along the way, she had given him her heart. That was her greatest mistake. From that day, suya was banned in Dambara. No one ever roasted or ate it again. The memory of Malam Sani haunted the town forever. Be careful where you buy your food. Sometimes, behind the sweet taste lies a bitter truth. Thank you all for watching till the end. I really appreciate the love and support. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I always enjoy reading them. Love you guys. See you in the next story. Bye.